What's good? What's good? This coffee, because my favorite barista made it. And she might have a living situation figured out. If you don't know the relevance to that sentiment, watch my last few videos. Run Towards Danger. Watch that video. I talk about how I offered a hug to a near stranger woman in 2024. That's dangerous these days. Trying to hug a woman in public that ain't your wife, mother, sister, auntie. Anyways, I'm getting off subject. Well, not really, because danger is part of the theme of all of this. But false flags, psyops, manipulating momentum. Kind of where I'm going, I think. Because we're seeing a bunch of false flags and psyops being executed right now. One example is that YouTube video that you might see news articles going on about. I'm going to call false flag on that one. But let's focus on the manipulating momentum component. The Lone Star Rebellion, the Texas border situation. There are apparently a lot of truckers and volunteers and people going to support Texas. And I have seen accounts like James Lindsay, New Discourses, saying that's a bad idea. He thinks that's a psyop, and he thinks ultimately their objective is to use the violence and use violence that might occur as a flashpoint to tighten the grips of the totalitarian control. They want an excuse to crack down on conservatives and to crack down on people who are against the establishment. And so I think he might be right to an extent. He's right in that sense for sure. But I think we have to do it anyways. We have to risk it. And that's where the manipulating momentum comes in. Because if there are influences sort of generating the buzz around this conservative movement, they are still, I believe it's a movement full of people seeking truth, seeking justice, trying to do what's right. And if we're smart, we will, and I bet you there's like a jujitsu term for this. I don't do jujitsu, but I know it's a popular thing, where you use your opponent's energy and momentum and force and tension to put them in a position more advantageous to you. And so if you're a good jiu-jitsu person, I do massage therapy, and so I understand tension and manipulating pressure and energy. And I assume it's similar in jiu-jitsu. So if you can anticipate based off of your back and forth with the tension and energy, you have an advantage. And I think that's what we as normies who are wanting to stand up, that's what we're going to have to do, is we're going to have to grapple with our enemies, the state. We can't just constantly run and hide, and we can't be pacifists, and we can't vote our way out of this, Tim Pool. Oh, Timmy, we can't vote our way out of this. It's going to require violence, unfortunately, but it needs to be extremely, extremely intentional, structured, judicious violence. And we're also going to have to fall into some traps sometimes, because we have to learn how they set the traps. We have to learn the games that they play. We have to learn where they're trying to go so we can redirect the energy, because the energy is a good thing. Having a bunch of people united is a good thing. We want that. However, if they're being united and manipulated in a bad way, that's where we need to be ahead of them. We being the people who are trying to speak up, who are trying to be thought leaders in this movement, or these parallel movements, because I'm not part of the Christian movement, but I like to think I'm in like the Great Awakening movement, and there's a lot of overlap there. So I think it's a good thing that people are mobilizing and uniting. I don't think it's time for violence yet. And I do agree. I disagree, James Lindsay. We have to play the game. We have to run first towards danger. It's good that you're speaking up and you're raising awareness to the psyop nature underneath some of these efforts, because we need a blunting force or a limiting or something just kind of slowing us down enough to think more critically and strategically. And so you are still very much a valued voice, and I appreciate you. Thank you. And in fact, maybe you should go down through the border and in person spread the message of manipulation. And honestly, that's what I think we need, is we need, kind of like Antifa has clubs, and like, so I think, is it Rose City Antifa is like the Portland one, or they have these clubs, and the clubs kind of have de facto leaders. This movement needs that to disseminate important information. So there needs to be some coordination, but stop being a pussy. That's all I can say. Like, James and Tim Pool, two big old pussies when it comes to this revolution. I may disagree with Vosh a lot, but he's not a pussy. Although, you know what? I bet if push came to shove, he actually really wouldn't enjoy violence. I think he enjoys talking about it and romanticizing it, but I don't think he would actually enjoy it. Maybe he would. Maybe he is evil. I just think he's fucking dumb, but maybe he's evil too. Evil and dumb, that's a bad combination. That's a bad combination. Well, I guess evil and smart is too, but it's just, I'm gonna end the video there. Really did not do a great job, but that's probably why I'm not a thought leader. Oh boy. Much love.